Do you ever go down a rabbit hole trying to solve a specific solution, and then once you find it, you go, oh my god, this has frustrated me for so long, I just need to make sure other people don't fall into the same issue? So that's what this video is. Hi, my name's Nix, and I wanted to connect my homebrew 3DS. I wanted to connect my homebrew 3DS to my computer so that I can use a wireless controller to control it. And there's tons of tutorials on how to do this, and a lot of them are really good and go into exactly step by step what you need to do, including how to download the software and stuff. But a lot of them are missing something very important, and there's a very important detail. A lot of these tutorials are done by people who have Xbox controllers, and they will state in the video, this will work for any controller. And that's where you're wrong, Chief. I don't know what other people's experience with this is, but at least for me, with my controllers and my Windows computer, I was not getting this to work. I was able to get the input software to connect to my 3DS, but then I could not get a connected controller to work, whether it was wired or through Bluetooth. It was not working. So obviously I needed to find a solution, and this is the solution. So the big thing that you are going to need is this software. This is x360ce, which I will link down below. This software is a controller emulator that will be able to take other controllers such as a Nintendo Switch controller, a PlayStation controller, or a third-party controller that does not natively have the Xbox software sort of situation going on. It will take those controllers, and it will make it into an Xbox controller for the sake of your computer, and this will allow certain games and this input redirection software work. So you'll need that. You'll need the input redirection software. I have that down below, and you will obviously need a Nintendo 3DS or something in the Nintendo 3DS family. So this will work for 3DS, 2DS, new 3DS, new 3DS XL, new 2DS, all of that. It'll work as long as it has this kind of homebrew on it. This is not a tutorial on how to mod your 3DS. There's a very good tutorial for that. You can find that link down below. I think you also need an SD card to do all of that. So keep that in mind. But for now, we are here to talk about how to get this to work with these non-Xbox controllers. So this software, this x360 controller emulator, what it turns your controller into an Xbox controller, which is really cool. So the first thing you do when this boots up, if it has any pop-ups about, if you install this and it has any pop-ups about, we need this in order to work, click install, click it. If you have anything over here under issues that pop up, click it, say, do whatever it needs to do to work. And like, trust me, just trust me, bro, it should be fine. So there's that. And what you first need to do is you need to click add game up here. Once you click add game, it pulls up your whole deal. And then you navigate to wherever you have the input redirection executable and click it. And it might take a second. For me, we went through the entire folder where I had that executable, so it took a little bit. Maybe put that in its own subfolder for this sake. But once you have that, it finds your redirection client, and it recognizes it as a game, which is awesome. And then down here, go over to a new controller. It should probably be controller 1 for you, but I've already set some things up, so we're doing this under controller 3. Then you need to take whatever controller you want. This is a PlayStation controller, and connect it. I'm going to do this via Bluetooth. I've had some issues with specifically my Pro controller with cables, but at the current moment, the cable that I use for this is being used to have the 3DS capture card. So I'm just going to connect this via Bluetooth on this kind of controller. That's done by holding share and the PlayStation button until the light bar starts to flash like that. Look up your controller, see how it connects via Bluetooth. The Switch Pro controller is by like pressing the sync button, for example. And then you can go into your computer's Bluetooth settings, make sure it's turned on. once you're in your Bluetooth settings, you can click add new device, add device, Bluetooth. It'll look, you'll see wireless controller or wireless gamepad or pro controller or something pop up. And that software just closed. Okay, we're learning together. Open that back up. All right, new controller. We have this as our game. All right, and then we click add. You'll see a list of devices, and I'm trying to connect a PlayStation controller. So you see this Sony Interactive Entertainment, that's PlayStation, baby. We see Bluetooth, so we click add selected device. It comes in here, and now what we should be able to do is you should be able to click auto down here. This will configure the settings automatically into how it thinks a PlayStation controller should work with this software. And from here, if I start pressing buttons, you see them popping up on the emulator. And they're showing up in the same position. So if you have a controller that has like a button layout different from an Xbox controller, double check that. If you want A to be A, even if they're in different positions, make sure to swap that. However, I mean, these are just, PlayStation shapes, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you essentially just make sure everything seems to be working. All buttons that a 3DS would use are there. And then once everything seems to be working in here, and make sure you have input redirection client set up, now all you need to do is set up in the client with your 3DS itself. So to do that, you click on your 3DS, L, down, and B. By default, you can change this, but by default, this is what it is. L, down, or not B, I'm sorry. L, down, and select, and that brings up the Rosalina menu. And then you go down to miscellaneous options, and there's an option here to, also click save all over here, just to make sure everything saves properly. Just do that, okay. Go to start input redirection, and it'll say starting input redirection, okay. And just press B to get out of that menu. And in the corner, you see an IP address. And that IP address is what you paste into the input redirection application on your computer up here. And to make sure everything's working, back all the way out of the Rosalina menu. And what I like to do is take the touch screen and see if it's working. Good. That means that the computer and the DS are working together nicely regardless of the controller. So we know that's good. If this part is what you're struggling with, one thing to just make sure your computer and your DS are on the same internet network. And if maybe you're in a situation, maybe you're on a college campus and there's like a internal network and a guest network, and your DS is on one and your computer's on another. I actually had problems with this on my I actually had issues with this on my college campus with similar softwares, because my college campus's Wi-Fi just didn't let me do this. So, try it at home. Try it at McDonald's. What do I care? I'm not your mom. So once this part is working, then the question is making sure this works with your controller. So this is whether your controller is properly being recognized as a 360 controller, and it is. So for me, this is great, because now oh my gosh, it did swap those two, huh? Oh, that is cursed. So what you can do is you can invert A and B, since this thinks it is an Xbox controller. But I'm able to open, you can't really see because this is showing the bottom screen. It gave me an error when I opened the game, so oh, it's because I'm connected to the internet and the 3DS internet's down, like for good. So we're learning things. Anyways, but anything down here is working. If I'm pressing the buttons, you can see my bottom screen changing. Let me bring the top screen over here so you can get the full the full experience at least. Yeah, so everything is working. I'm able to control my 3DS perfectly fine with no real issues. It's pretty nice, like input delay wise. Now granted it's a 3DS game, but I'm not noticing any delay beyond what I would expect from a wireless controller, and everything seems to be working great. I can play the game as intended with this software equipped, which is really cool. So, if you were having issues connecting to these types of controllers, I hope this helped. Additional tips that I have is that if you are having any additional problems, this within the software, sometimes there might be like any sort of error. There's like an issues tab over here. If an issue pops up, say resolve it, and hopefully that'll help you out. I also had an issue where when it was either not recognizing my Pro controller when it was connected via Bluetooth, and then when it was connected via wires, it was saying that my Pro controller was pressing buttons all willy-nilly. I looked up a Reddit thread to figure that out, and I ultimately came to the conclusion that I needed to reboot my computer. I rebooted my computer, forgot the controller through this software, forgot it on my PC, and I reconnected via Bluetooth, and this time it worked. I still haven't tested it with a wired connection, but hopefully this will help, is the vibe. If you have issues, do the typical IT guy, turn it off and back on again. If the program closes on you, open it back up. Now that this is connected, you should be able to just actually minimize or close the software, and it'll still recognize, it should be. It said you could, but that's a lie. Oh man, x360ce. Yeah, this does have to be open for this to run, but hopefully this helped you. So if you've ever experienced this kind of shenaniganry, I can play Pokemon using this. Like, no, look, Mom, no hands. I can. Wow. Oh, this is scuffed. I just want to help someone else. That is all I want to do. So if you are that someone else, awesome. Good for you. Thanks for watching. I think we're just uploading this as is.